The first Doctor Who episode, An Unearthly Child, broadcast in November 1963, essentially sets up the series, leaving an audience hungry while featuring almost no story. Two teachers, Ian and Barbara, work in a very normal school and are very normal people. It is through their eyes that we witness the story. This immediately introduces a tenet of Doctor Who which is arguably one of the series' greatest strengths. Concerned for her pupil, Susan, who exhibits unusual behaviour and is evasive about her home life, the teachers follow her and end up gate-crashing time-space when they force their way into a police public call box. Since 1960s humans are not meant to know certain things, Susan's grandfather, a doctor of sorts, will not let them leave, so there is a struggle which hurls the four characters into some strange, deserted landscape. Roll credits. The first age of Doctor Who, with the first Doctor, Ian, Barbara and Susan, has always been one of my favourites, and every 60s episode has a certain monochrome charm. This episode, like the near-identical unbroadcast pilot, is murky, suspenseful, and leaves you wanting to know more. An ideal opening for a BBC drama of that time. We are lucky to have it, and it is rightly considered one of the great gems of television history. The locales consist simply of a classroom, a car, and a junkyard, and yet you feel you are following a film noir detective thriller. The setup was devised for a show which would be educational and informative as well as entertaining, the broadcasting remit of the BBC. Thus the Doctor, an alien, knows more than the other characters about most things, while Ian understands a lot of the science they encounter, and Barbara the history. Meanwhile Susan, although also alien, is innocent and needs to ask questions, so that everything the audience need to know is relayed simply and smoothly, and the character dynamic between these four remains one of the best in the show's history. So it isn't only the atmosphere, mystery and tension that make the episode work, but perhaps more so, this original cast. William Hartnell in anti-hero mode as the first Doctor, William Russell and Jacqueline Hill as Ian and Barbara, the ordinaries whose lives are interrupted without warning to be shown things they'd never otherwise have dreamed, and the enigmatic yet wide-eyed Susan, played by Carol Ann Ford. The BBC has always had a snobbery towards science fiction of any kind, and had no idea that Doctor Who would one day become their most successful and most syndicated ever show, or the most lavish drama in their history. Head of drama Sidney Newman warned producer Verity Lambert not to make a monster show, and was reportedly very angry when he saw the first Daleks appear. But don't worry, for that to happen took a whole 4 weeks.